All right, all right, all right. Start a little early, see if we can get some people in here. What is up? Hope you had a great week and a great day. I'm excited. We got a lot of good. Well, we got 4, but I think that's a lot. Good emails this week. We got some exciting things to to go over. I'm really stoked for this stream. So if you're joining us, please say what's up in the chat. Type and say hello. So I'm gonna give it a good 5 minutes to get some people, 3 to 5 minutes to get some people in here before we get started. Man, I got some exciting stuff. So we're just gonna wait and see. Give everybody some time to get in here. Let me know if the audio and everything is if it's too loud, too quiet, anything like that. Hopefully it didn't change much from last week, so that'll be good. That everyone can hear everything well. Hello, Chad. Thank you for doing this. Stella, awesome. Stella, since you're here and you commented first, I'll actually go over your email first, since I see that you're here. So we will go over what you've got going on and answer your questions. I've got some good stuff for you. And kind of a good lesson to learn. Audio is perfect. Glad to hear. So I am excited. We'll wait till about 8:05 to get everybody in here, get everything going, and start rocking and rolling and talking about grass and things like that. So I am excited. Hello from Orlando. Orlando. Good on you. Orlando's a beautiful place. Be hard at least to do some work. I actually used to do about 70 Walmarts in the Orlando area. We don't do them anymore, but man, I love Orlando, but it's crazy over there. So power on you for living there. The traffic is insane, but beautiful homes, beautiful area. MTK, what's up, man? We're gonna go over your second since I see that you're in here. I'm excited. Nate, what's up, man? Hey, I'm glad you could join us. We're getting people in here, so got a couple more minutes till we'll get started. That's weird. MTK, you typed something, but I can't see what it says. It's all gibberish for some reason. So I'll just assume that you said go Gators or something like that. But I can't read it for some reason. So, but I'm excited. We got some good stuff today. Believe it, got an email submission from Australia that we're even going to go over. So that was really cool. Really cool. That people from Australia has St. Augustine grass. They call it something else. He says it in the email. I don't remember. Buffalo grass, I think they call it. But yeah, so something from across the world. That's pretty cool. I am stoked to go over it. We'll get started here in a little bit. Criminals, what they should be called. The heat's happening in here. The heat is coming. So good old football season makes for some good trash talk and finally talk about something than lawns. I enjoyed. Hey, come on, dude. Football season makes it fun, unless you're a Jaguar fan. Then it's not very fun. But I still love them and watch them. So I try my best anyways. Times 8:04. Oh, I got about another 30 seconds and we will jump into Stella's email submission here. I'm very excited for that one. Got some good answers and some good lessons to learn on that. Unfortunately, it's at someone else's. Fortunately, it's on Stella's. Okay, let's ignore Netflix documentaries made about criminals out of Gainesville. Yeah. And some of Florida's athletes didn't do so well coming out. I think Australia, they call Bermuda grass cooch grass. I say things like Australia calls a lot of weird things, whatever they want. But they play by their own rules from the land down under. So, all right, we are going to get started. I hope you enjoyed my beautiful background picture. I figured it'd be better than just some a black screen or something. But let's close this down. I'll add this up, but we're going to jump over here. So this is from Stella here, who is in the chat. She provided with some good information here. And see, I might have some follow-up questions and things, but we'll see. So, hello, chat. Thank you for allowing me to share the photos of my lawn. You'll see that my lawn does not look good. Less than 2 months ago, I had the nicest lawn on the block, and all of a sudden it turns on me. So, Stella, I don't have your before photos in here, but I will say Stella's before photos, the lawn was flawless. So, what you're going to see after is all totally new damage from the photos I'm going to show you, because the lawn was really nice before, and so she's 100% correct here because I saw the photos myself, but there were so many to share, I thought it would get complicated. So, but it definitely was a nice lawn. So just a little backstory. I started to notice crabgrass in my backyard around March or April. That's when crabgrass comes out. Bad news bears when you see crabgrass coming out. At first, I didn't know what they were until I watched your video. Glad I could help. I did a blanket application of Celsius in May. Celsius isn't a bad herbicide. Can definitely work for some weeds, but not too much on crabgrass, but we'll continue on. I did a thin layer in the front lawn and focused mostly on the backyard since that's where the crabgrass were. Celsius worked great on dollary, but not so much on crabgrass, and I'll show you why here in a second. Celsius worked. They seem like they died, but they returned. Dollarweed will always return. There's pretty much almost no fooling getting rid of dollarweed. They're just keeping it at very manageable levels. Best way to treat dollarweed is consistently treating it and keeping the turf thick. But if it's like very invasive, if you have small amounts in your lawn, you can eradicate it. But if it's extremely invasive in many parts of the lawn, there's almost no getting rid of it, unfortunately. It's going to be consistently treating it every 2 weeks to every month, and then fertilizing and thickening up that turf. But that's your goal with crabgrass or dollarweed. Yeah, dollarweed likes more soil. So this year, how wet it's been crazy. So if you can fix the drainage, that'll help a lot. But once it's in there, your best thing is not to eradicate dollarweed, it's to suppress it and keep it at very low levels and not allow it to overtake. So, and I tell customers that when we sign customers up, that they're going to think we're the best company in the world because we're going to get rid of all their dollarweed immediately, and they're going to be like, you guys are the best. But I warn them, it's going to come back. But it's consistently treating it, and each time less and less slowly comes back. But you'll stay in small, you'll still have small parts of dollarweed, especially in moist areas, or if you're on a pond bank or something. So that's what makes it tough. So did a second application only in the backyard. As long as it's been 2 weeks, that's totally fine to do. That's a great move. Well, I fertilized the front lawn using a 10-10-10 fertilizer, which that's fine. The phosphorus isn't, let me go over this in a second, but Using a lawn over 10-10-10 fertilizer. During that time, my front lawn was looking nice and green with no visible signs of crabgrass. So the 10-10-10 is fine. My biggest recommendation for like a 10-10-10 using on a lawn that's a great shrub fertilizer is if your lawn's stressed and you're trying to get it recover from something. That's when a 10-10-10 would be better. But you want to go low because what phosphorus does is it creates the bloom. So it's going to help whatever picks up phosphorus is going to help it do its bloom, which is its seed. So if you have a yard full of weeds or crabgrass and you hit it with a 10-10-10, that middle number, which is the phosphorus, can really promote a lot of seeds and really make those weeds explode. So that's something to be really careful about. If your lawn's nice and thick, I recommend like a 16-2-11, even a 16-0-10 or something like that. I'd like to add a little bit of phos because I believe that combination of all three macros together is like a slam dunk. Each macronutrient, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all complements each other. So I always like to use a little bit of phos when I'm using my macros, but it's okay not to use any. But just be doing a 10-10 is not wrong. Just be careful and know that you can possibly have an explosion of weeds from using that. But as you said, her lawn looked good, so and no visible signs of crabgrass. So I don't think in her instance it was the wrong move to make. I'm just saying it for future things in a good example. So. Would you suggest a soil test first to see what? Yeah, I mean, I always recommend a soil test. That's the best thing. That way you know pH and also you know what nutrients you're missing. Now, sandy soil lacks nitrogen. So you're never going to have nitrogen, so don't feel like you have to keep putting down a bunch of nitrogen. That's something your soil's always going to be lacking. But look at your potassium. Your main thing is to see is your pH, number one. Number two, your potassium levels. That's very important. And then your micronutrients throughout. And you can find from there what you need to do. But pH test absolutely will help. And most local ag extension agencies do them for free. So I was getting compliments from friends while the neighbors were hating. Haters. That's when you know you have a good lawn, when the neighbors are hating on it. So that's when you're on the right track. Between the end of July and August, hot, that's the hot time of year, I started to see a few crabgrasses here and there. That will happen. Since Celsius did not work that great the first time, and I'll show you why, I did an application of Drive XLR on my lawn and has been suffering since. Drive XL on August 11th. And that was a mistake. It killed my St. Augustine, and I'm still seeing crabgrass, and my lawn has been suffering since. Yeah, I have never heard of Drive XLR8 till you said it, and I looked up some information that we'll share. So I took the photos today. Please let me know at the point of no return. I will send you before photos in separate email. I did not even bother to send you photos of the backyard. It's a hot mess. Thanks for your input. So Nate, what's the compound of XLR8? We're going to go over that. I have the label pulled up here. Stella, if you could tell me the pictures that you sent me here of the damage, which we'll look at. I will look at them now. The pictures of the damage, how long after you applied that product was it? That'll really help. But here we're going to look at the damage. Now, I saw the before pictures, all thick green lawns. So this is all new damage that we're seeing. We're seeing that yellowing there, which is chlorosis, definitely stress from herbicide burn. Herbicide burn. You can see where the herbicide didn't hit as much, green and healthy. Dead areas, dollar weed, to chlorosis. With an area like this, best thing you do, that black cow sand mix, how to fill in bare areas, will really help. And then giving your lawn a lot of like potassium and some micronutrients is going to be a good move here. Same thing, rake out some of the dead grass, apply some potassium. So I have temp restrictions. That's my thought. About 2 weeks after. Okay, 2 weeks. So you're at the max damage. So this is about as bad as the damage is going to get. About 2 weeks where you're at. So a lot of this, you could rake out, put in some soil, add potassium, micronutrients. Same thing here. It is very stressed now. Now, less is more in this situation. Your grass is stressed and damaged, and the best thing to do is give it a little more watering love and give it some potassium and some minor micronutrients. Don't have to go overboard. Your lawn is stressed. It's like when you do a surgery, and maybe surgery goes wrong and you need another one. Sometimes you can't do surgery after surgery. You have to have a time to lapse, let your body recover. It's the same thing with this. So doing too much is not the answer. Patience is key. It's pretty burned. It's burned here pretty well, but same thing. I think you can rake out some of the damage, put it in black cow sand mix, nice and thick, and you should be really good to go there. This concerns me a bit. You can probably do the soil mix, but I might just say put a strip of sod down here and then put the soil in there. But you're at max damage. Now, the shade area will concern me. So shade's a blessing and a curse. The shade should have helped it from not burning as much, but also it's going to help it not recover as much. So in shaded areas like this, I would just recommend doing sod because it would be a very slow recovery if it does. This doesn't look like to be in the shade. If this gets at least 5 to 6 hours of sun, I would rake out and do the soil. Maybe if you want to do a couple pieces of sod and some plugs, that would work. But you're going to be needing a lot of soil to get these areas to recover in here. Yeah, this is all recoverable. It's just extremely stressed. Soil, water, potassium, patience. That's going to be key here. This is sod. I would just cut out this section here and sod all past. The strip looks good. Under here looks pretty okay, luckily. Like I said, I would maybe just sod this. It looks like it's in the shade a bit, but you seem to really be okay. The shade really helps. So now she went from, and I saw the lawn. So Stella went from a gorgeous lawn, used the products. Does the XLR have temp restrictions? That's my thought. Is that a royal? I don't know what this is, to be honest. Don't have them much here. It's a beautiful tree. It really is. Yes. Yeah, but you must be further south than us. We don't get these here, but that's beautiful. So now let's go and look at the Celsius label. So the first claim was I got crabgrass. I got Celsius, but it didn't treat. What happened there? So let's check out the label here. So here's the label. Labels are as boring as it gets. There's your active ingredients, which if you don't know what they are, I know Nate knows some. If you don't really know what active ingredients are, this really doesn't tell you anything. So you're going to want to grow. A lot of the first stuff on the pages is first aid, agriculture comments, usually stuff you don't need, first aid is good to know and things, but it's more safety things. It's not going to tell you too much about the lawn. Mode of action gets into a lot of details. Labels can be very, very overwhelming, but you have to just break them down and read these areas. So let's see here, like restrictions. This will be good to read this whole thing over here and what not to do. That'll tell you if there's any heat restrictions, watering requirements, whatever needs to be done. But in any product you get, you should quickly read over the restrictions. Now here's the turf tolerance. This will tell you what type. Cultivars. So this product has been tested and be used on the following turf types. Right there is St. Augustine. And it's a bunch of different types of St. Augustine. So we know we're good. So we've got the right turf. Celsius doesn't have tip restrictions, I believe, and does recommend a non-ionic surfactant use. Does she use a NIS during application? I'm not sure. That would be something Stella could answer there. But yeah, Celsius does not have heat restrictions. I read through them all, but of course, again, is something you would want to do. And then now we know it's for the turf grass. But now, what was she trying to target? Stella was trying to target crabgrass. So here's where this is where it tells you your rate. So this is where it gets a bit boring. Is where we want to find crabgrass in this chart. So we're gonna go to the C's. No crabgrass there. All right, and here's weed control, I guess, at a higher rate. Let's see in the C's, carpet grass, chamber bitter, common, corn, Dallas grass. Not seeing that in there either. Let's go here. Weeds at a very high rate per 1,000 square feet. Dallas grass, boom, here we go. So we got large crabgrass. Yeah, no, I recommend almost a non-ionic surfactant with almost all herbicides. Besides, very few do already have surfactants in it, like Blindside. But most will need a surfactant, and I prefer non-ionic. But so here we have is large crabgrass. So crabgrass is on the label, but large crabgrass. There's so many different types of crabgrass, and they're extremely hard to tell. It's very scary when there's only one type of crabgrass on a label. And now also we notice it has these three little asterisks, these little stars by it. What the heck's going on with that? Well, let's look down here. It has its own categories. You see, like Dallas grass is best controlled with 2-spot applications and things like that. So, it tells you there about that because Dallas grass has the 2 stars, but 3 stars is only for crabgrass. Large crabgrass, this is its Latin name here, is best controlled at early growth stages. Sequential applications of Celsius may be necessary. So it's pretty much telling you it only works when it's extremely, extremely new. So what you're going to want to do is only spot treat it, and you have to catch it very early and it doesn't even tell you how many applications. It just says literally keep treating. As a professional, for me, I tell customers we don't treat crabgrass. Now, if you're really a homeowner and want to do it yourself and you can stay on top of it enough, yeah, you can probably get some good control, but you're going to be out there every 2 weeks treating it, and it only works in early stages. So that's where the labels get tricky, because you might talk to somebody and say, oh, it treats crabgrass, which technically on this label it does. But it comes with a gnarly disclaimer that when you really look at it, it ends up not being that great, because only you can catch it early. It doesn't really work that well. And I've heard many people end up just using a higher rate and damaging their lawn, and crabgrass ends up just burning away. Tenacity label says it will treat crabgrass. There are some not so wonderful side effects to me, so though turns grass blades white. Yeah. There's Tenacity, other products, same thing. There's usually, if it treats crabgrass in St. Augustine in the summer, it dies in the winter anyways. It usually comes with bad side effects and almost not worth it, because if you stress and stunt the grass so bad, new crabgrass is going to come in. But now let's check out, so that's how we check through the label. Like I said, it's as boring as can get, but if you take a minute and read through, you can really diagnose and find the information you need. So let's do the same here on this Drive. So Drive XLR herbicide. Here is the active ingredient. Again, to professional who uses it, that would be important to us, but a homeowner that doesn't really know, it's not going to be too much good information until you start kind of using these products and learn. Again, here's all the safety stuff, and we're going to look, we're going to find restrictions and things, chemical control product information, selective herbicides resistant weeds, best management plan, application information. There may be something in here. Additives to spray mix to achieve control. That's probably going to be something good to read. Broadcast applications. That might be something important to read. Turf graft tank mixes. Let's check. Mixing compatible tank. Here we go. Restrictions and limitations. So can only be applied as a spot treat in New York City. Do not apply these certain rates. Do not apply this. Do not apply on golf course or greens. Do not apply drought stress turf grass. That's probably all herbicides. Do not apply to fine fescue. Do not apply to Bahia, carpet grass, centipede colony, St. Augustine's, or other lawn turf grass. So right here, this weed control is this weed control is not, I know, Nate. This weed control is not labeled for St. Augustine grass. But check out this name here. What does it say? When you look this stuff up, it's called crabgrass, like crabgrass killer. Yeah, so Drive XL herbicide crabgrass killer. These names can get you, and you can talk to people who don't really know what they're talking about. So you might want to find this information for yourself, because people, you can be so frustrated and fed up with it, you can overlook these things. So right here in the restrictions, like I said, Nate knows the active ingredients. These are things you can't use on St. Augustine grass. So right here it tells you St. Grass is a no-go. And then here we go. Highly tolerant grasses, your Bermuda, blue, annual, moderate grasses, susceptible. There's St. Augustine grass again. It's very susceptible to the herbicide, which is weird why they would say it's susceptible and restricted in the same thing. You just shouldn't use it on there anyways. But that's why it really pays to Even when I recommend a product, I'll recommend you guys products, but I tell everyone, please read and look at the labels. And it's really good to know because you can kind of learn how to skip through all the crap, because these labels can be extremely overwhelming. So this is kind of a little label lesson, but that's what you want to find is restrictions, limitations, so you can find heat, and then you want to find turf grass tolerance, and then you want to find the weeds you're trying to control on here. Because just like Stella used Celsius, which is great for St. Augustine grass, no heat restrictions, but it did have crabgrass on the label, but it was only large crabgrass, and it's only when it's fairly new. So, wasn't too effective. Getting through these labels is really important, and to find these labels, you literally just type in the name of the product, label, download a PDF, and you have it here and spend a little time looking through it. So, let's go back here. But Stella, you're not too bad. You didn't see any pictures of the back. If the back looks like this, you need to resod. But this area, and I would say a little bit by the road, is all you need to resod. The rest you need to just be, I would be patient. Let's say this was 2 weeks. I would be patient for another 3 to 4 weeks by just giving it water. Put down the soil. Watch my how to fill in thin and bare areas video. Put down the mix of the black cow or command, black cow, sand. Do a nice mixture. Cover these areas to help protect them from the heat. Give it a little extra watering if needed. It's been raining a lot, but the rain's kind of backed off, and if that continues, give it a little extra water, give it some potassium, micronutrients. About a full month and a half after you've applied, go ahead and add that. Do a little 10-10. I would do like a 10-6-10 or something like that. But whatever you do, Stella, when you're recovering and trying to help this lawn out, now wherever you are in South Florida, things you want to be careful going into winter, adding nitrogen. You're going to want your nitrogen and your potassium to be equal when you're trying to help a stressed lawn. Now, nitrogen is hot when it releases, so make sure you use a slow release and don't overdo the nitrogen. You can't overdo the potassium, but there's no really big downside. Chad, stress turf density to keep crabgrass out and other broadleaf weeds. Yeah. Best defense against weeds is thick turf. That's number one. Now, the problem is weeds are going to jump into here. That's the most annoying thing, is that by Stella really trying to get control of the weeds, she ended up accidentally burning, stressing, thinning, and is now going to have more of a weed issue, and it's going to take a while to recover this and get this back. But the best offense against weeds is a thick turf. That's why you follow the program. When you have these weeds, you can be patient with them. Okay, the crabgrass is kind of in your yard. Use pre-emergence to stop it from spreading. Pull what you can. Maybe try to spot treat and stress it. But you can't get it all gone in one season. Take the time and thicken up the turf. Because I saw Stella's turf at the beginning, which you guys don't see here, and it was gorgeous and it was thick, and some crabgrass did creep in, but that's just what's going to happen. It's unfortunate. Humic acid's always great. I can tell everyone, humic acid should be mixed with everything if possible. I just don't know good homeowner stuff. We have some really great products coming out. Actually, in all of our products that we're going to be releasing are 100% humic based. We're not going to have a single lawn fertilization or shrub fertilization product without humic acid in it. We run every lawn program with humic acid. It's extremely important. For a homeowner, I don't know, maybe Nate can probably lead you in a better direction of products you can buy now that may have them, but we have some really exciting things coming out in hopefully in the next month, all humic based fertilizers, and they just work amazing what humic acids can do. But Stella, do you have any, before I move on, do you have any questions for me about this? And I have your you've emailed me, so you can email me after this as well if something comes up. But I think I've gone over this clear. You're gonna have some weeds in here. You're gonna have to deal with them. You're gonna need to let this lawn recover. So, potassium, micronutrients, humic. A month and a half later, do some light nitrogen to kind of help promote the growth and grow out some of this damage. We need some new growth coming in. But I wouldn't go over a 10 nitrogen. Always use slow release and have your nitrogen and potassium balanced because you're trying to recover a stressed lawn. And if you can find humics mixed with that, amazing. Answer all my questions. Thanks a million. No problem. Love to do it. That is why we are here. We did a really good label lesson here. For weeds coming through the area, she's growing back. Do you just need to hand pull? Hand pulling the bigger ones like crabgrass, Dallas grass, a lot of other ones would be the best thing to do. But if you, what I would recommend, some of the smaller weeds, about a month and a half after it starts to recover, and if the areas are doing better, spot treat. Don't bulk mix herbicide. Get a little 1 gallon, get one little 1 gallon hand sprayer, and get a, if you want to still use Celsius, is fine and okay. There's products like Celsius, Avenue South. There's a bunch of products out there, but just make sure Sano's in there and just be super careful. Walk around the 1 gallon and try to just hit the weeds. What works really well is using organic farmer's dye. Blue farmer's dye really helps. That way you can see how much you're soaking the weed in the area you're getting, because when it's stressed like this, pull the bigger weeds, but these smaller ones like chamber bitter, spurge, things like that, you're not going to be able to, sedges, you're not going to be able to pull those. Those are just a nightmare because it's a million little weeds rather than growing from one spot out. What's up, Captain? Thanks for joining. So I would spot treat very carefully and try to get the least amount of herbicide on these leaf blades as possible. Now let's go to here, to Josh, which is MTK. Now I can call you Josh. He put this in a wonderful PDF here for me, which is amazing. Saved me a lot of time, and it's a lot cleaner than the way I'm doing it, just throwing it. Celsius has yearly max restrictions, so you have to see how much you can use per application. You can max out early in just one app. Yeah, I personally don't use Celsius, so I'm not too familiar. Again, that's where reading the labels goes to. But if you spot treat, you should be okay, and I highly recommend spot treating. You really need to only bulk mix the lawn if the lawn's a disaster full of weeds. How to deal with uneven ground level for new laid sod? Thanks. When the sod's new, not too much you can do there. Use some soil to help fill it in and even it out. Give it 3 to 4 months and do some aerations. That's pretty much all you can do. But be patient with new sod. It comes in bumpy and rough, especially if you got a new home and the home developers did it. They do a really crappy job. Put soil in the low areas. Give it some time. It'll start to settle out, and then aerations and top dressing can help from there. But you're gonna want to give it 4 to 5 months before you do an aeration on a new lawn. Gosh, it'd probably be here restriction. Maximum single application rate is 4.9 ounces of product. Do not apply more than 7.9 ounces, 209 grams of product per acre. Per acre, which is 0.7 ounces. So 0.7 ounce or 4.8 grams of product per 1,000 square feet. What are the rates here? Is that grams? 4.8 grams. Yeah, at a high rate, you can almost max yourself out at a high rate per 1,000 square foot. So I would say you can get away with 2 medium and one low application in a year. If you spot treat, you're using a hell of a lot less. So Kevin said 0.85. So that's a low rate, and if probably in the summer that can work. So running at a 0.85, you can run it 6 times a year. Again, I would just spot treat it, but it definitely has those that maximum restriction right here at the top. What you can do per year per 1,000 square feet. And when you're using a backpack sprayer, it sprays 1 gallon per 1,000. That's the rate you're going to use to mix that. So here we go. We're going to move to Josh. He's got some issues with the lawn, and he actually has a picture of a weed that I am having a hard time identifying. So maybe I can get some help from you guys because I'm not really 100% sure. It's hard to tell from pictures, and those leaf blades look a little funny to me, and I went between several different weeds what it could be, and I settled on neither of them. But Hey, Chad and the team. By the way, Josh is one of like the earliest subscribers and followers to the channel. I have to say, man, thank you so much for the support. For me, this is an honor doing this for you because you're the first person I consistently ever saw in my comment section on the channel, and definitely supported me. And I appreciate everybody who supports me, and I really like to see now I'm seeing consistent people like Nate and other people in here consistently supporting me, and it means the world to me. But Josh was for sure number one, and I'll never forget that. So thank you, man. But hey, Chad and the team of Turf Organics, here's some questions and photos for Wednesday's live stream. I hope the photos came out well enough to decipher what's going on, and always thank you so much for your help with your followers' yards. Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're able, because he put it nicely for me, we're able to zoom. It's probably what I should do with these emails, but so front yard thatch. Is this thatch, and if so, can it be fixed by a core aeration? Would a liquid aeration work as well? It seems to be getting worse and worse. The soil seems compacted because the stolons are running across the top of the grass. I water my turf twice a week when there's no rain. It's what we're restricted to. And I fertilize based on what you outline in a 12-month scheduled video. Thanks. So through these pictures, it is hard to tell how much thatch, because you really have to kind of dig down and feel where the runners start, and where the soil is. But my question is, so yeah, this can happen from compacted soil, but you'll only get the runners running on top when the area is bare. So just like Nate said, if there's room for it to grow and it's doing this, either a pre-emergent was applied or it is compacted. This is room to compete. Now it looks a little thatchy, but lawns, I mean, St. Augustine is always a little bit thatchy. Excessive is where you don't want to be, and adding quick release nitrogens is how you do that. So to me, it doesn't really seem to be too excessively thatchy. Now, either you have applied a pre-emergent and the runners aren't really grabbing, or just like Nate said, when it is a little thatchy, there's some competition for space, so it can't really grow to the ground. Now, I'm not a fan of liquid aerations. I've heard some good things from homeowners, but I don't hear much. There's a big royal set above that area. Did you use a pre-emergent? And if so, when? And yes, I think I've done too much milorganite. You have to use a lot of milorganite to do too much, but it's possible. Promoting that growth is dangerous. Yep, looper. You still sometimes do that too. It's called looping and can be normal if your turf is thick. Yeah, I mean, Corey, you're absolutely right. It can just happen if your turf is too thick, but it can happen too if it's too thatchy. So I don't see it. I mean, it looks pretty good, overall. Just make sure you're not adding too much nitrogen to create thatch, but this sometimes happens, and sometimes it happens when you apply pre-emergence as well. So not too much you can do there. Now, if it is thatchy, core aeration, not really going to help too much with thatch. It's a great thing to do, and I recommend it. I haven't done a pre-emergent in years. Okay, so then yeah, it's just competing for space and probably a little bit thatchy, which a little bit thatchy is a thick lawn. That's just what it comes down to. Excessive thatch where it becomes a problem, but every St. Augustine lawn has a bunch of runners looping in. I mean, you have to have a thick lawn. It's all part of the St. Augustine cycle we have here. So just like I said, I think it's just thick turf. If you're having some areas that are extremely spongy, now if you get a little squish, you're okay. But if you're squishing far, then you have some excessive thatch. I've never used a liquid dethatch. I don't think that works for our grass because it's more of the runners. So I would recommend adding soil to bring the layers up and keep the roots in. If the roots are sticking outside of the soil, then absolutely you have some thatch issues. So you can add soil to bring that up, but if not, you're okay. Okay, no primer, blah, blah, blah. The stolon doesn't always stay green across the whole length of the stolon. The trail strands die out over time. This is why you have brown. That's probably what you see. Yeah, this is okay. And this is looking straight down. It's funny, when I deal with a lot of customers, they complain about the brown in their lawn, but that's because they're looking straight down at their lawn and they're looking at everybody else's lawn from a side angle. St. Augustine looks hell of a lot better from a side angle than straight down because you see some of this, and that's okay. This is all part of the St. Augustine cycle here. Could I mix Celsius with 2,4-D for St. Augustine grass? I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and can't stand nutsedge. There's no need to mix Celsius and 2,4-D. Both of those are a broadleaf herbicide. You can use one or the other, and if you do use 2,4-D, you have to make sure you use the right one for St. Augustine grass, because there's 2,4-Ds that you can't use for St. Augustine. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. That's where we are. I can't stand nutsedge. Yeah. What Corey said: Sedge Hammer, Pro Sedge. Any of those. And so you can mix Celsius with some Sedge Hammer and Pro Sedges. Those are usually okay. What I recommend is when you're mixing products like that, do a small test area first, because sometimes products don't mix well together and it's hard to tell. You can try to read through the labels and things, and they might tell you mixtures there, but it gets difficult. Best way is to do a little mix, test a small area, check it in 2 weeks, and see how it does. But yeah, no need to mix two broadleaf herbicides really, unless you're trying to kill like tough weeds or you know what you're doing. But in Jack's Florida, can't stand nutsedge. Yeah, you need sedge controls bad. You need nutsedge, sedge hammer, things like that. Little squish, off chicken. Little squish is okay. Use a very low rate of 2,4-D with full rate of Celsius. Yeah, doing a little mix now. I know Captain's a certified operator, so he has a lot more experience. And I don't know if Nate's a professional or not, but Nate's very educated as well. Once you start to get these down, mixing and doing things like that are okay. But if you're a novice and you don't have too much experience, I would just kind of stick with one broadleaf and then mixing it with a sedge control. But you know, a small rate of little 2,4-D and some Celsius, you can do some good damage to some weeds and not even touch the turf. That would be that is good. Oh, that's true. Straight down versus across the street. Yeah, it is a big difference. It won't kill sedge. I guess you're talking about the 2,4-D. I mix Celsius with sedge hammer for nut sedge and only spot spray. Yeah, I would only spot spray as much as you can. My say, especially when your lawn is thick and you have good control and there's only a few weeds. Spot spray is the best way. It's pretty effective. Sulfurizin zone. Yep, that's good. Can you mix Sledgehammer and Avenue South? Absolutely. I think I've mixed almost every type of sedge control with Avenue South, and I've not had a small problem. Avenue South has a little bit of sedge control in it as well. Now, it's nothing good on its own. It's not good to do. It's not good to do on your own at all. Like to use the Avenue South for sedge, it'll like yellow it a little bit, but it's really good to mix like Sledgehammer and Avenue South together. I think that's a really good mix there. I haven't had any issues myself, and that little bit in there is great. I'm just a DIY, no pro over here. Well, Nate, you've done your homework, man. Pretty impressive stuff for just doing it on your own, to be honest. Not a lot of people will do that and recommend active ingredients things. That's why I try to keep it simple with products and stuff, because it can get pretty hairy when you're talking actives. But you know your stuff. So. Weeds. I cannot identify the weeds in photo 1. I hope the picture quality is enough. There are little trees with deep stubborn roots and take ages to remove by hand and are spreading like crazy out front. The St. Aug really doesn't compete well in the other photos. I have typical wild Bermuda creeping in clover. Can you help me identify and defeat these tree weeds? So I had a hard time identifying this as well. It's a very viney type of weed, which there's a lot like. You'll eventually become a pro, Nate. Nate's almost there. I wasn't even sure if Nate was a pro or not. I have had a hard time identifying this weed. This stalk looks very similar, but it's these little leaves that are throwing me off. I went through my whole weed chart, and I even looked up more weeds, and I could not find anything that really matched these leaf blades. If anybody has it, it's a little bit bigger there. It looks similar to your button weeds. What else I saw your chickweed, it looked like. Oh gosh, it also had looked like a smaller version of knotweed. This lesbizia, which I don't see common here, that looks like it could be as well, but causing stolons to reach into the shrub bed over mulch. That's just the grass growing. You just need to edge. Get an edger or a weed eater every week and clean up that line. Those runners are just going to grow wherever. So like right here, take an edger and a weed eater weekly when you mow the lawn and clean up that line, and that'll prevent the grass from running into there, but not the weeds. But this looks like a very treatable weed with, I have those in my backyard too. They wind up creating islands in the St. Augustine. This must be a more southern weed because I'm not zoom more. I'm at 3. Problem is, I've zoomed in here. I can't move over either. It just gets blurrier, but these leaf blades are just, the shape of them are throwing me off. But it's but the stolons of this seem like every other type of viney running type weed that I'm familiar with. I named several off of this chart here. It looks, what I would recommend is using an Avenue South, a Celsius, an MSM type product, and I think you might just have to keep on top of it. Just constantly spray it every 2 weeks. Come out, spot treat it. It might yellow and stress. Hit it again. It looks very familiar to Virginia buttonweed. It seems like the way the leaves, so the blades are smaller, and it's not, but it seems like it's a little fuzzy and has that where the herbicide won't stick well, and you have to constantly keep treating it. Yeah, Nate, I'm pretty stuck on this one too. It must just be something further down south. I got to so many weeds I thought it was, looking them up, and then I just can't find anything with that sharp leaf, that sharp leaf tip to it. There's almost like a bunch of it's like a big like a hunting knife type tip here at the ends on a lot of them, and I just can't find it. I'm not really sure, but your broadleaf weed controls should work. It just seems like it's a stubborn weed, just like all the rest of these viney weeds that grow like that. Like you said, create islands in the lawn, thick, choke out. It seems very similar to the way buttonweed grows. It reminds me exactly like buttonweed. It's like a broccoli. Mm-hmm. So since I think it's similar to buttonweed, that's how I would treat it. And buttonweed needs a good mix of like Avenue South and MSM. You can treat with Avenue South, but you have to stay on top of it. So I would get some Avenue South and spot treat every 2 weeks till that sucker's gone. And then it probably comes out only in the summertime, I'm assuming. It looks like a summer weed. So just keep that turf thick. And what you can do is maybe try to get some more control in your beds. It may be coming from your beds every year, and so it's starting in the beds here and creeps out into the lawn. So by getting some better control in the beds, putting down like some mulch and things, and edging out the line, maybe you can prevent it from going in there. But I'm stumped on the weed. If anybody else has any suggestions, I've gone through everything I know in the book, and I even looked up weeds I don't know, and I really couldn't find any, but it seems a little further out south. Now, this more looks like some zoysia that's planted in here, rather than Bermuda. I think that this is zoysia grass that's in here. It may have been planted or something, but to me that doesn't look like Bermuda. Is there? Yeah, it's harder to tell from photos, but I'm not seeing. I think it's, unless it's a different type of Bermuda. that I'm not too familiar with. This looks very similar to zoysia grass. It could be what it is. To be honest, though, it's very isolated in this area. I would kill this off and resod this area. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Because see, it's starting to spread through here, but I would get the majority of it in the thick area, and it seems to be isolated over here, and so I would do it now because now's the best time to get control. So, there's that weed again. Like broccoli, you know what? Now that you say that, I feel like this picture here is getting me. I feel like I've seen this. It's not weed. No. What's this called? It's not a thing. I'm trying to look. Some reason now, this looks familiar. I feel like I've seen this weed before. I still don't think I know the name. Yeah, you can. It's tough. I'd like to know what this is, but either way, you should be able to get it with a good broadleaf. Yeah, kill it off, sod. You're good with that area. High traffic areas. Yeah, send me some more pictures. I want to know what that weed is. It's bothering me now. High traffic areas. St. Augustine, in my opinion, is horrible when it comes to high traffic. St. Augustine is the worst grass for traffic. St. Augustine grass traffic's the easiest out of all the turfs. I almost said the most easiest. I think that's not a word. I have a 50-pound hunting dog. I've seen cats. I've seen cats traffic St. Augustine grass. So that's created game trails in my turf as he runs all over the backyard chasing lizards. Can I tackle this issue by putting down sand or black cow? As you can see, nutshedge has taken over the areas and grass has gone bare. Yep, so there is the sedge. Now, this looks like urine right here. I would say this is urine. You're going to need to get your sedge sledgehammer. Burmedic. Cardo, hey brother, love the content. Thanks, man. I appreciate you joining in. I appreciate the positive comment. It means a lot. Thank you so much for jumping in and joining us and commenting. I appreciate that. Burmedic. Captain, I don't think that's it, man. Look how big those leaf blades are. This is the... Oh, that's not going to work because I have a light on my camera. See, that's the problem. That's what gets me. I think those leaf blades are just... are too big and I say in an early stage... Well... Yeah, this spot here is dog urine, 100%. So, dog's just doing a little urine spots, not too much you can do there. Get some sedge control. Now, I'm seeing, this is a low spot, and I can see water sitting here. That's why you're having that sedge issue. So, what you're going to want to do is do the black cow sand mix. Absolutely. Now, the dog urine, there's not much you can do about, but you need to build this area up and stop this water from sitting. The grass is thinning and sedge is growing. That's exactly what's happening here, because it seems like the rest of your lawn is supposed to drain outward, but you have this dip here, and you probably have water coming off the roof as well. So, water's coming off the roof down, some of it's sitting in here, and the rest is draining off. So, just a low spot, sedge stuff, any type of sedge control, black cow sand, build the area up. You should be good to go there. Yeah, Captain, I don't think it's Burmedic. Unless it's it in the early stages, but I don't think even the color's the same. Oh no, I'm still pretty stumped on that weed. I graded the backyard with a bobcat a few years ago. Looks like my grading skills were not good. No, I think your grading skills were fine. I think this is a dip from the water coming down. Now it's going to change because it settles. So I think the rest of the lawn is great here. As you can see, the grade coming through here, and it's even higher around here, which is great. But it's literally just this small spot. And honestly, it's probably from traffic. If the dog keeps running out of there, he's probably digging up the turf a little bit, which is causing a low spot. So it may be something you have to consistently keep filling in because of the dog. So that's just what I think is going on. And it's common. Or if the water's falling down there, heavy rains, all kinds of things happen. But I think the grading's fine because it's literally just this small spot. The rest is great. I put down some new sod in the middle of the yard. How do I apply pre-emergence? Is it too late? I wait till December 2nd. Guys, don't apply pre-emergent on new sod. Please do not do that. Wait. I would just wait. Honestly, I wouldn't do pre-emergent on your new sod till spring. Just do it around the rest of your yard. No, September, October is a great time for pre-emergent. For the rest of your lawn, skip the new sod and do the pre-emergent in the spring. Oh, super awesome, man! I appreciate the donation. That means the world to me. I really appreciate it. We found a way of us donating that YouTube is stream. Appreciate. Yeah, I have a PayPal link. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have a PayPal link there. So if you want to donate without giving YouTube a lot of the money, they do take a good percentage. Go to my PayPal and you can send money through there if that works for you. Or there's, I'll take it either way, but you're right. So if you want to check out I put it in now, all the links in the description of my video, and on my channel it's in the description there. I have a PayPal link, so if you want to donate without YouTube taking a cut, please feel free to send it there. No donations are necessary, anything like that. I really appreciate it. Super, thank you so much for donating again. That's amazing. I appreciate this. I love doing it, and the fact that anyone would give me some money for doing it blows my mind every time, and it's grateful. Thank you so much. Pre-emergent, you don't put down now. Too warm. Pre-emergent applied when soil temps usually below 70 degrees. Yeah. And it depends. A lot of these people, I think a lot more of you are further south too. So I would monitor temperatures. That's the best way. A lot of people won't, but Central Florida, you're looking December-ish. You need these temperatures to cool down. North Florida, you'd probably be okay in October. We run a 2-month program, so it's more difficult. But if you can monitor your temperatures, that's absolutely the best way. What do you do with thin spots under oak tree, Eric? Let me come back to that. Got to go. Wife has dinner ready. Please do another live stream. Oh, enjoy your dinner. Absolutely. I'll be live every Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. But here, let me get through this. Eric, I'm going to come right back to you. Here is my front and backyard zoomed out so you can see what the conditions are like. Excuse the backyard photo was taken in the middle of a working day. Total turf area is roughly 3,000 square feet, front and back. I did landscaping sod myself, icing the front 3 palms. The house has come a long way from when we moved a few years ago. Thank you so much for your help and guidance. Beautiful home, man. Love it. Overall, turf is great. Now that I'm seeing it further back, I don't believe there's too much thatch at all. I'm in kind of south of Tampa. Okay. So you're a little further south than Tampa, and you're by that coast too, and on that Gulf side. So it stays warm over there. They're warmer than here. We get a lot of these cold winds. Yeah, this is great. I mean, this looks really good overall. You just need to focus on maintaining. Seriously, man. Same thing here. This is good St. Augustine turf. Besides some of the small areas we addressed, I would just focus on maintaining, following the programs, using proper pre-emergence at the right times, things like that. And spot treating weeds. You should not have to bulk mix weed control. And I know you said you don't use pre-emergence. I would at least consider a spring pre-emergent to get rid of these annoying weeds here, because these look like they're going to be some summer weeds. So a pre-emergent can help fight them off. If you do pre-emergent twice a year, that'd be great. But if you're used to doing none, at least your spring pre would be very important. So, Josh, no problem, man. I appreciate your support. Like I said, you're one of my first consistent supporters, and it really helps. But you're doing a great job with your lawn. Just like I said, focus on maintaining it, following that program with the spring application, micronutrients in the summer, and a fall fertilizer and some winter potassium. You're in business, man. This is nice, beautiful home, by the way. You need to fertilize your palms though. Get some palm fertilizer, man. These things need some food. The University of Florida recommends 16 pounds a year per palm, applied in 3 applications to 6 pounds each time. And it has to be palm fertilizer. These things need magnesium, manganese, boron, like a lot. So go ahead and feed these bad boys and get that color going out of them, because you're missing a lot of the color out of these palms. Other than that, that's it. Like I said, beautiful home. Everything else is great. Now let me get back. Yikes, I had no idea to get some palm fur. Yeah, palms need a lot of fertilizer, and it's very important that it is palm fertilizer because of the nutrients that really, the micronutrients is what really makes it thrive. It's different than a lot of other plants. So, Eric, what to do about thin spots under an oak tree? So, what I'm going to recommend is you send me a picture through my email, turforganics904@gmail.com. It's on my YouTube channel because there's so many factors that go into it. Oak tree roots are very shallow. It competes for water. It uproots, destroys the turf, makes it difficult there. Oak tree leaves are very acidic, so they can really lower the pH of the soil. From the acidic leaves, especially if they're getting constantly mulched, and if they're not being picked up enough, it can choke out the grass. So that's another factor. And then the last factor is shade. Shade. So with all 3 of those things combined, it is really tough to keep nice thick turf underneath an oak tree. So it depends. Everything you got kind of going on, it really depends. Which one it is. So my best recommendation is the video how to fill in thin and bare areas. I would do that, or if it's really bad, I would do some sod. But if you do sod or you fill in the soil and it's not working, then you have one of those 3 factors playing in, and the most difficult one is just too much shade. Sometimes grass has when there's grass under an oak tree, it has enough energy to grow but not enough to recover. So you may have turf under there at one point, but it gets stressed or damaged, and then it doesn't come back because it's so shady. But I highly recommend Eric sending me pictures, because really every time I get this question or I go to a customer and see this, every single one is so different because it's just so many factors involved. But I think sunlight is one of the most important, and picking up those leaves gotta be. A lot of salt too from the runoff from the rain, which would mess up the pH and area, causing thinning. Yeah, oak trees are like the biggest lawn killers. They're beautiful trees. My recommendation for people, and sometimes it's not viable because depending on your lawn and your landscape, which I don't know, is so the drip line is where the branches, the far branches end from where the trunk is. The drip line is where your canopy ends around your tree. My biggest recommendation for oak trees is to make a bed halfway out through your canopy. So if you have your trunk here and your drip line here where your canopy ends, you want to make a bed halfway out, because usually that inside between the trunk and halfway to the canopy gets too much shade. The roots are usually above the ground because oak trees have very shallow roots, but they're very long. And then with all the leaves and things dropping, so I would make it a bed and put like a shell ginger that likes the shade, or Asiatic jasmine, or something that likes shade underneath there, and that's relatively easily to clean leaves out of and doesn't mind the changing pH from the leaves. So that's my biggest recommendation to everybody. But again, I don't know your landscape, and sometimes that's not a viable option. So let's see. Okay, we got 2 more emails here. Here, we'll go to this one here. I think one of these is quick here. So first of all, I'm in Gainesville, and let's go Gators, beat Bama. I'm hoping. I wish we had another 2 more games before Gators had to play Bama. But hey, we played them the best last year, so we'll see how it goes this year. I have St. Augustine grass in a home. I've been in since last October and used professional service and wasn't happy with it. I want to take over myself, but I've been hesitant to use sides. So what he means by sides is pesticides. So insecticide, fungicide, herbicide. Because I have a dog. She doesn't spend a ton of time out there, but obviously she goes out there often. I've heard if you follow the label, it shouldn't harm them, and also heard that instances of canines are increased in properties that use them. So obviously her nose is right at the turf and has smaller organs to filter the sides on the turf. Can you calm my nerves on this topic, perhaps in an upcoming video? I'm not going to post pictures here unless you want, but I have a beautiful, huge bird of paradise that I transplant from the front yard to the backyard. It seems to be thriving and doing great. The previous owners, I don't think, realized how big they would get, so it outgrew the location in the front yard. Keep up the awesome work. Let's go Gators. So with sides, yeah, absolutely. Let's go Gators, and that's awesome about the bird of paradise. They're such beautiful plants, and they can really thrive. So that is awesome. But with sides, that's up to you. So my biggest thing is, again, when we go over those labels, the labels tell you exactly if they're safe for pets and what you should do. My biggest recommendation is if you're concerned about using pesticides, then number one, spot treat. Only use pesticides as needed. Wait till you have active chinch bugs, active sob webworms, then just treat that area. Same thing with herbicides. No need to put herbicides over the whole lawn. Just spot treat the herbicides. And then if you really want to know where it is, put organic blue dye with what you're treating. Any of your pesticides, put blue dye with them. That's why you know where they are in the lawn. And then once the blue dye's gone, that means the product's completely gone. It's either washed away or it's absorbed into the plant and it can't transfer from the plant to skin. That's the best recommendation. Of course, read the labels of the products, follow their instructions, and you're usually within water. Every product you usually have to water in the next morning anyways, and then wait 24 hours and you're extremely safe. So with your dog, as long as you're not putting these pesticides over the entire lawn and letting your dog go out after and watching what you use, you're 100% good to go. So I wanted to go over this. There's no pictures related with this. He's a Gator fan, so I enjoyed that. But I'm sure a lot of people have this concern and things. So, there are a lot of studies of herbicide-treated dogs and cancers. But again, that's putting weed control over the whole lawn and letting the dog go out there. Use blue dye, spot treat those areas. Once the blue dye is gone, that means the product's gone. So that's your best way, and then just spot treat, especially if you're doing it yourself. Now, professional companies, if you're really concerned, professional companies are going to have to use those over the entire lawn because they have to run prevention methods because they're not constantly there like a homeowner would be. So that's my best recommendation. And again, we went over a couple labels. I believe Celsius didn't have it in precautions, not in restrictions. I think it had it on there. Turf, sensitive grass, restrictions. It may have it. Okay, here. Do not allow. Body of water. But okay. Do not allow people or pets to enter treated areas until spray has dried. So that's most products' recommendation, and that's what you should do. And then, like I said, if you want to play it super, super safe, just wait 24 hours and you should be absolutely good to go. So it's really not too big of a concern as long as it's not being applied over the entire lawn. Spill urine still work. Chad, go easy on TJ. He's got a great yard that rivals mine, but still tells pee jokes. That's funny. It rivals your lawn, huh? Maybe we need to get some pictures going and see how it is and how the lawns are. I enjoy a good pee joke. Most products, unless labeled for golf course use only, are safe for home and animals. These usually just like a time and frame they recommend. Yeah. Exactly. They are. Golf courses are on a totally different game. They get extreme stuff, all of our, like I said, homeowner products, and you can't even buy the golf course stuff. So you can't mistakenly get the wrong thing. They can't legally sell it to you. You can't legally buy it. Like I said, wait 24. Most products recommend till dry. It says it on there. Water it in the next morning. Wait 24 hours. You're playing it safe. And then the organic blue farmer's dye, playing it even safer. Now let's go to Gary here. This is a good one. This one's from the land down under. Hey, golf course representing. Oh, what's up, Rocket Man? Golf course represent, man. You get to use the goods. You get to use the wild stuff. Hope all is well, Chad. Absolutely. Another day in paradise. No complaints from me. Just living the dream. Sitting here talking about turf, hanging out. I got no complaints. So, hey, they're writing you from Melbourne, Australia. Very, very cool. We Turf Organics, our channel, has reached worldwide. Hoping you can answer my question on my St. Augustine lawn, referred to as buffalo grass here in Australia. Sending this after seeing your message on YouTube about live stream next Wednesday. I laid this sod around November 2020. It took root really well and looked beautiful over the summer, and into the fall. I noticed I was getting quite a lot of poana, nightmare, showing up, so I used a pre-emergent on it to try to knock it back. And I'm worried I've damaged the lawn somehow, as they recommended you don't use it on newly established lawns. I only read that after using it. And yeah, you absolutely should not use pre-emergence on newly established lawns, but we'll define here what newly established is. As you can see from the picture attached, it's quite a lot of dead leaves throughout, but if you look closely, the stems still show signs of green. And farther this ends past the small palm is greening up, now that we're moving into spring. Now we have to remember, they're on the totally opposite cycle. As we're moving into fall, they're moving into spring. So these just coming out, I guess still technically in winter. So this is a totally opposite cycle here. Just looking for some advice. Is this normal for St. Augustine grass to do over the winter? Here's something is there something I can do next year to keep it healthier through the colder months? Thanks in advance, Gary. Gary, thanks for reaching out. Like I said, I love to see that we're getting something from Australia. Never what I thought. Literally across the world would I be getting a submission. So here's this lawn here. That way we can look at it. It's not too bad. Now this is winter. So this is what winter is here. So, but then I said, let me ask you a few questions. How long did you apply the pre-emergent after laying the sod? How cold does your winter get? Any freezing temperatures? If so, how cold and how many nights? I'm not familiar with temperatures in Melbourne. I'm not familiar with the soils. So I had to ask that and had to figure out information about the pre-emergent. So he did say thanks, not Hanks. I just didn't copy and paste the T. So he's thanks for getting back to me so quickly. I applied a pre-emergent probably 6 months after laying the sod. Totally fine. So his pre-emergent application was not too soon. I don't know if the timing was right, but that won't damage it. That'll just make the pre-emergent not as effective. So he's okay there. 6 months after laying sod is perfectly fine for the pre-emergent. No damage there. Check mark. We can rule that out. Our winter average is 50 degrees Fahrenheit. But does get down into the 40s during the middle of winter, June, July. That's so funny. Middle of winter, June, July. It just blows my mind hearing like that. We're dying here in June, July, and you guys are dying there in January, February. That's so funny. It's like summer during Christmas time. How weird's that? We did have a few frosts this year, and so did we here, but only occasionally early morning. As a kid, I remember them regularly in the winter, but not as much these days. This grass is actually looking better over the past few days as the temps are warming up slowly, but it looks like we'll have some cold mornings coming this week. So this is actually very similar North Florida temperatures, very surprisingly. Don't know what the summer temperatures are, but this is extreme. This is pretty much what it's like here in North Florida. So now we're going to go back to the turf. He already says it's starting to green up as temperatures are warming up, and that's okay. So this is just all from the winter. I believe this wall blocked some of the winter from damage from here, and it kind of opened up a little bit more. That's a cool little house and things too. This tree looks cool. Man, I'd love to just go there and look at all the landscaping in Australia, man. That would be awesome to see all the different trees and things. Those knockout roses? These really look like knockout roses. And a sago. Gosh, get those things out of there. It's like looking at North Florida in a mirror, Ella. That's really funny. That's good. That's a good example. It is like looking at North Florida in a mirror. I wonder what the soil is like. That would be good. I didn't ask that, and I replied to him one more answer. What I recommended to do, and I said that too. I said, depending on your soil and things, those are factors that I don't know. But yeah, it is in a mirror because they seem like knockout roses. There's a sago palm. That's what we get here. It's probably not mondo grass, but it looks like mondo grass. Can't really tell what anything else is there. It almost look like oleander leaves too. Maybe there's an oleander tree behind the picture or something. Is that sure? No, never mind. That one looks a little too wide to be an oleander. Those don't. But this isn't the point. I'm getting distracted and looking at North Florida in a mirror. As Rocketman said, that's funny. So this is totally fine, guys. This is winter damage. My only recommendation and what I think is, eucalyptus. Is this the eucalyptus right here? How can you tell? I can't tell. It's so hard to tell here. You're seeing, but yeah, those definitely rock art roses. But good eye. I can't tell, and you probably a little more difficult for you to see than me. Oh, excuse me. So what my recommendation was, it just looked like it was a little too dry during the winter time. It looks like it took the winter a little bit tougher just because it was dry. Now, amazing thing what a lot of people don't know is, the leaves. Yeah, okay. That makes more sense, huh? I didn't think of that. That'd be, again, you got good eye on that. Because that is not at all what I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm a simple man when it comes to my shrubbery and trees. But, but it's just dry. Things are harder to freeze when they're wet. So you want the soil to be wet when cold temperatures are coming out. You don't want the grass blades to be wet, but you want the soil because what that'll do is protect the roots. Things have lower freezing temperatures when they're wet. So it really just looks like he kept the lawn dry, and it just hit the winter, hit it a little bit harder than it should have, but it'll totally be okay. You can see the tree in the background. Oh, is that what that is? What am I? Hold on. You got me. You got me looking at this now. So the leaves start off. That's what the trees look like. I've never seen one that big. Does the leaves start round and then they get long and like that? Interesting. I'm not too familiar with this. I'm even imaging. I'm not even seeing anything nearly that big. That's cool. Nate, you got some good plant knowledge, my friend. I did not catch that. So, but yeah, like I said, dry. So my recommendation to him is like you're totally okay. You're fine on track. What he's just going to want to do is do some potassium through the winter time. I said right now, again, just do some potassium, maybe some micronutrients. Humic acid's always a win. And I said once the temperatures don't get below 50 anymore, then you can start adding some your spring fertilizer. I don't know what month it is. Do koala bears Australia eat these leaves? Oh, that's what these are. You could. Oh man, I had such a brain fart there. Yes. Gosh, I need to go to Australia. All right, I'm lacking because I absolutely should have known that. That is weak on me. But Yeah, so he just needs to wait till soil temperatures stay. And I emailed him responding back to him, but he needs to wait when soil temperatures stay above, or not soil, when the ideally soil temperatures, but when no longer gets below 50 at night, he's good to add some nitrogen and get this yard to bounce back. It'll bounce back fine. What he can do next winter though is keep the lawn watered a bit more and add some potassium and do like a fall fertilizer to keep feeding it. It just looks like it was hungry and dry and took the winter bad, but all is okay. So this yard will be fine. This is some normal winter damage. I think we had winter damage just as bad here. So I had a few customers in Naki that had exposed root system that got wrecked during the winter and freezes. Thought it was a mistake on my part. No. That's thatch. That we got crushed by thatch here. So that's exactly what it was. These thatchy lawns got fried from our cold winter, and that's what's going to happen. And we don't get. I'd say every 1 in 5 winters here in North Florida is truly cold. We get frost and things, but this year we actually didn't get a freeze really. We got a lot of frost, which did hit it hard. Those thatchy lawns are going to take a hit because the root systems are exposed. So instead for the top browning like this, which, this doesn't look visually pleasing, but the grass is okay. It's going to recover and bounce back once it gives it nitrogen. Just make sure you don't do it too early. Be patient. Let it warm up. Make sure you get some warm days, consistent warm nights. You put nitrogen out too early and another frost or freeze comes, you're going to do damage and stress to your lawn. So I just told him to do some potassium, wait till it doesn't get below 50 in the nights and then go ahead and do some nitrogen and it'll bounce out. But yeah, so no, it wasn't on your fault at all. It was from their lawns were already thatchy. Now, unless you created the thatch. So when I get a customer that already has a thatchy lawn, I make sure to address it with them and tell them that if a winter, I can promise you I won't create more thatch, but I can't get rid of your thatch. So if a cold winter comes by and you lose parts of your lawn, which happened this year, it's not going to be on us. Unfortunately, it's going to be from the lawns already thatchy when we started. So just make sure you're not applying too much nitrogen to create the thatch. And as long as you're not creating too much thatch, you should be good to go and you'll be in business. So that'll work there. But yeah, it's unfortunate when sometimes when you don't know, and you think mistakes on you, and then you end up replacing sod when it wasn't you. But again, just make sure you're not using too much nitrogen, promoting too much growth, and that will help. But yeah, definitely not you. And these cold winters will do that, especially when we've had a lot of warm ones. So nobody's got beaten. And also. A lot of people, is their first years here. So many people move here from up north and they've never been here, so they're not familiar with it. So if they move in, like last year was almost a perfect year. It was a warm winter. It was mildly wet spring and warm temperatures, good summer. I mean, it was just almost your textbook year last year. So if people moved here for their first time, and this was their first time dealing with this lawn, then they think, oh wow, this is how it's all supposed to be. And then now we got hit, and then the next year we had one of the coldest winters we had in a long time, and then their lawn gets hit back and they're confused. And then also we had a very cool spring. So a lot of people are saying, well, this time last year my lawn doesn't matter. Last year was last year. This year's this year. Every year is different. You can't compare year after year. And you can't compare yard to yard. Everyone mows different. Everyone waters different. Everyone's soil is different, especially in these new yards where they're doing fill dirt. Now, if the yard's not fill dirt and it's like on normal dirt, then yard to yard, the soil's not much different. But when it's fill dirt, it absolutely is a lot different. So I gotta tell people, don't compare yard to yard. Focus on your lawn and don't compare last year. Last year's temperatures this time of the year were a lot different. Last year's winter was not as cold. So those things playing a factor. And lawns, you want your lawn to go like this. You want everything in life to go like this. You would ideally hope that your life consistently gets better and better and better. And ideally, in the macro picture, it does. But through that is dips, ups and downs. And I tell people, your lawn's like that too. Your life's not going to perfectly go up. Now, if you start here and end up here, then that's okay. But it's not a steady path to that. It's up and down. Same thing with your lawn. You're going to get chinch bugs, then you're going to recover chinch bugs, and you're going to fertilize, and your lawn's going to start picking up and looking better. So it's gonna go up and down and get better and work. So be patient. I had a few customers in Noxty that exposed your system. I got some customers your way. I left your way when I left the residential game. Hopefully they call. Big text. Oh, big text, man. Thank you so much, dude. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate that, and I hope there are customers and they reached out. I wish I knew. But if they reached out to us, I'm sure we took care of them, and we're still taking good care of them now. So I always appreciate the business. Roll the R's. $2 for the camera fund. Woo woo! Thank you. I appreciate the donation. It really means a lot. I'm excited on my way to getting a new camera. My old camera has not been doing well, so I've been filming my videos with my phone, which I have a nice phone, so it does end up working well. And I actually cracked the screen of my phone last week filming a video. I put it up on a tripod, and the tripod fell over, and it hit rocks on the concrete, and it totally shattered spots on my screen here. So that really sucks. So I appreciate the money for the camera fund. I'm excited to get like a real camera that I can film with, and that way I don't have to break my phone or use the camera I had, which is cheap and old. So, but that was all the submissions there. We went over labels. We went over this. Yeah. That was everything. So, good to hear, man. You were literally the only arguments I will recommend to people. Take that for what it's worth. I'm back in the golf course game now. Hey, absolutely, man. I that means a lot to me. I really appreciate that because you drive around. There's long guys here everywhere. So, the fact that someone in our industry, even though you do golf, you still understand the grass game, would say something like that. I take that comment very highly, and I appreciate that more than anything. So thank you so much for that, and I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to hear you're back in the golf game. It's a tough industry in there, but obviously you've shown you can put in the work and get it done, and I'm sure any golf course man is happy to have you. And you care about what you do, and you're always asking questions, tuning in to things like this. So you go above and beyond, and I'm sure the golf course is happy to have you. And I take your compliment extremely highly and much appreciated. Thank you so much. The video quality is still great though at 1080. Perfect. I'm so happy to hear. Guys, I'm gonna do about 4 more minutes and see if anybody has any more questions or anything. Again, I appreciate the donation to the camera fund. That's awesome. I'm super excited to get a good camera so I can just up the quality of videos. I'm going to be having I got to film and edit a video. I want it to come out tomorrow. I'm going to try to do it all in one day because I've just been so busy this week. I have not been producing the videos that I've wanted to. Educational wise, but it's going to be a September, what I recommend to do in September and October for your lawn. So that's what the video will be about. I'm definitely filming it tomorrow, and I'm going to at least edit most of it. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll at least have it out by Friday, but I'm going to try to get most of it done tomorrow. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, but it's becoming tough. Work is busy. In the winter, hopefully stuff slows down and I get some more time. But then the problem is there's not too much stuff to film and talk about in the winter. So I have more time to make videos, but I don't have much to make videos about. So double-edged blade there. But again, I'm in here for another 3 minutes. See if anybody else has any more questions or anything. Feel free to ask away, and please, if you want me to go over your lawn like I just did here with all these other lawns, email me. turforganics904@gmail.com. It's on my channel. It's in my links. It's all things like that. Send it my way. If it's not appropriate to your work, how do you handle goose in St. Augustine? That was a battle. I couldn't win. I don't treat goose grass. I tell customers you have to pull it. Yep. Don't do it. Luckily, it's easy to pull. Goosegrass, literally you can pull it out. It leaves holes in your lawn. Stella, you're welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Did I hear you earlier say you're coming out with a product line? I must have missed that announcement video. Yes. Coming out with a product line. We've been working on it so hard, and it's been tough with time. But we have all the awesome fertilizer. We were gonna have a it's called our SM10. It's called SM10 because it's soluble material tin nitrogen, and it's a heavy humic mix. This stuff's like black dark. It's the heaviest humic out of any product that will be out there. And our humic's the most pure humic acid in the world. It's derived from biostimulus coal and is up to like 89 to 93% pure humic acid. It's amazing. Most of the stuff anyone else gets is like 70% pure. Our stuff is like 90% pure humic, and this stuff goes out black. It's no joke. We have like an 868, a 10-10-10. Those are for shrubs, like root and bloom type things. It's gonna be awesome. We really only have one main lawn product right now, but we're gonna absolutely get more things going into it there. That makes me feel better. I couldn't find a solution that wouldn't damage. Yeah, there is no solution. Goose grass has just got to be pulled and get rid of. But like I said, luckily it is pulled. That stuff's a freaking nightmare. And it's got a proper name because gooses are nightmare too, or geese are nightmares too. So goose grass is a perfect name. The plant and the animal line up very well together. So, but yeah, again, we do have our own product. And the first thing to come out will be our all natural weed killer. Count me in on an order when you drop it. Absolutely. I am going to, I need support from you guys. So I'm going to like discount it to my subscribers and everyone who buys it early because I want your feedback. I'm going to make videos on showing people how to use it. But, now we use it in our professional industry. So I know the product works well, but it's very different when you're giving it to someone else to use rather than guaranteeing it's being applied professionally. So to my subscribers who order it early when it first comes out, you're absolutely going to get a good deal, and we want your feedback. We want to know what's not good about the product. Did you get the results that we were getting? What's happening? Is it hard to use, easy to use? Do you understand the product? So we really want to get that feedback. So where can I contact you outside of here? I'd love to test your new product when it's released. Email me the turf. Email me the turforganics904@gmail.com text. And through there, if you need my phone number or something, I can give that to you. But email me through there. It's on my YouTube channel, turforganics904@gmail.com. But yeah, we need some people to help test it and give us some feedback on it before we extremely launch it. Because just to start, it's going to be just for my subscribers only. It's going to be only people from my channel are going to be the only people who are going to be able to buy it. So I want to make sure that it's right. But we have our all-natural weed killer coming out too. Now this is a non-selective weed killer. So this will kill everything. This isn't used for your lawn. This will be to kill crack weeds and weeds in your bed, and it's 100% natural. Not one bit of synthetic material in there. Every single ounce of this weed killer is organic and natural. Also, it works very similar to Roundup. The kill time in the sun is the same as Roundup. It is slower in the shade though. Because part of our formula is using the sun to make it work, and it almost works just as long as Roundup. Our weeds do come back a little bit sooner, but not nearly as much. But you have to treat the weeds in your beds, whether you use Roundup or not. You have to treat the weeds in your beds weekly to get really good control, anyways. So if you're doing it weekly with Roundup, then this natural product, you won't notice any difference from using this and that. And it's $1 more a gallon than Roundup. So we've competed with them. We've got it out. It's approved. Labels are done. We're working on bottling for it right now. But that will be the first product to come out. It's an all-natural, non-selective herbicide to replace people from using nasty Roundup. So I know people ask us a lot about that. Roundup's definitely a product we don't use. We don't use any glyphosate-based things or anything like that. So this is something we're really excited about. We've been testing this for so long. It's been a battle getting this product going, and I'm really excited about the weed killer. So that'll be the first thing launched. And then within the next few weeks to come will be the weed killers. Shipping's being a difficult thing. Shipping is very expensive nowadays, so that's where our biggest battle is coming from. So I want to get the products out to the homeowners. It seems like we've done the pricing though. It seems like we can be just as competitive as everybody else. So that doesn't seem to be a problem there. But we can be just as competitive with pricing. But we're excited for that weed killer, and we're excited for the fertilizers. Yeah, man, it is. It's really great stuff. Now when I tell people, now if you have a weed that's 3 feet tall, a lot better than glyphosate, mad expensive. Yeah, and our stuff's only $1 more a gallon, so we've competed price wise with them. And again, this is for weeds in your cracks and your beds. If you're trying to kill out a whole area to resod or replace or re-landscape, to be honest, it's probably not the best for that. Just it's where I'm being realistic. It's a weed killer for your weekly use around your beds and your cracks. It's not to nuke areas. Just because it's really good at broadleaf. It's a little bit slower on grassy weeds and things like spraying it on St. Augustine and Bermuda. It will brown and kill it, but it's a bit slower on that than your glyphosate will. So it's, we're being honest with the product and we have a proper expectation. I got a 140-acre test site for you. LOL. I'll be in contact. Yeah, let me know. I got an acre of land here that I've been working on, but you can only do so much with an acre. Yeah. And so along with what we're, the best part is too, I'm gonna actually resell some. We're gonna sell some weed killers and stuff like in packaged deals. We have our fulvic acid that allows us to cut the label rates and products in half. And the coolest thing is what I think the biggest benefit is we're gonna sell weed killers that you can also buy online, but they're selling them for such an extreme markup. We can compete with them from buying it ourselves and then shipping it back out to you, which is crazy because they're doing mass shipping, so they should be able to do it a lot cheaper than us, and they're not. So they're really upcharging on it for no reason. So we can compete with them, but what we're gonna do is every product we sell, I'm gonna have a video on. So you know exactly before you buy the product how to use it, what the results are, and what's going on. That way we avoid mistakes. Because I think a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing it. They want to do it themselves, but they don't feel comfortable with the product because they don't know. They're scared to burn their lawn. That's a very expensive mistake. They're scared of the results. So every product we have will come with a how-to video. How to mix it, how to use it, what the results are, things like that. So you know exactly what to do and how to use it. I think that's the biggest benefit, is that our products are coming with the education, not just here's a product, good luck, use it, and read those. Have fun. Reading this, figuring out what you need. Again, I mean, labels are necessary, but again, to somebody wanting to start out, if this is the first thing they see, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I don't really want to do this because this is just so overwhelming. So that's really, really, I think our biggest benefit in our products is going to be is showing people how to use them so they don't make mistakes. And no product makes the type of fertilizer we have. No one sells anything close to it. We are going to blow the market out of the water with the quality that we're coming out. I mean, this is professional grade humic based products that are easy to use, and you don't have to worry about when you think professionally about burning your lawn. It's just going to be amazing. I can't wait because the homeowner market sucks for people trying to do it themselves. Oh, that's so true with the labels, like reading code and seriously, it is. It's very over. I mean, I went to school for this stuff, and part of my learning in my school for spraying, we did like a whole week on labels. We had to learn how to read labels. That was a huge part of our schooling. And then they expect you just to buy these products and know. And like I said, if you take the time and do it, you can, and it's not impossible. But it's, like I said, it's extremely overwhelming. I had a whole week of schooling, literally just talking and going over labels. And when I take my test to get my licenses, a lot of that's based off these labels and running the numbers and what you can and can't do and running through these labels. That's probably the hardest part of the test, just because you have all the answers in front of you, but it takes so freaking long to go through all these labels and answer the questions on these tests. So, of course, the labels will still be on there for, legal reasons and for people to go through them, but I'll have videos that show everything. Labels. It's been awesome to see you guys. Boom. Wishing the best for you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, label is law. 100%. And the label will tell you everything you need to know about a product, and it is the law. You have this following this label is the law on what you can and can't do. But what I'm going to do is break it down for you in a video, so you don't have to waste your time, and you can follow, you can follow the label from a quick video. Chad, would you mind talking next week about weed whacking and edging tips? I can take some pics and show you some tough areas if you think it would be interesting. I don't want to cause damage. Yeah, absolutely. Send me the pictures, and yeah, absolutely. I mowed lawns for a very long time before I started spraying them. So that's how I started in this industry, and that's all I've ever done. I started mowing lawns, did some landscaping, went to school, got a spray job, and started. Oh, now we're back. Sorry, cut out there, but yeah, I've never had any other job but taking care of lawns. So yeah, absolutely. Send me some pictures, and I'd love to go over. Maybe I can make a little video, get an edger or something, and make a video. But I mowed lawns for a very long time. By the way, make sure putting the seal on top of the jugs. I bought some products online. Half of the liquid was spilled inside the shipping boxes. That's really good to know. I'm concerned about that because we're gonna use some like local shipping. We're going to use the big guys, and they don't really care about that. But luckily, I think all of them are going to come with like you said, like a seal on the inside that once you get it, you have to take the cap off, pop the seal, and then put the cap back on. It's kind of annoying, but that's how we have to work, especially that humic. Because humic acid's all natural, safe stuff, but it's black, and it looks like motor oil, so it's gross. You had missing edging under my hedge, and there's a reason why I haven't done it. Okay. Yeah, what I can do is, yeah, I got you. Send me some, send me some pictures and things, and remind me and ask me exactly what you want me to go over in an email this week, and that way I can put it on my list to film and go over it. That's good stuff to know. How to clean up an edge like that. That'll really help, and I think I can borrow an edger and a weed eater from somebody and find someone's edge they'll let me clean up real nicely and make a video on. So that's something I will absolutely do. No problem. Yep, and make sure my products are sealed. So, okay, that's something note to myself. We definitely can't have our products leaking. That would be no bueno. So, okay, I'm gonna log off a while ago, but we kept having questions, which I love. So, again, I'm gonna stay on for a couple more minutes. If anybody has any more questions, please feel free to ask away. I don't mind answering, but if we're good to go, or if you want me to go over this, go to next week again. We have our own product line coming out, fertilizers and things. The first thing to drop is our non-selective, all-natural weed killer. That works amazing. See you, Nate. Thank you for joining, man. I really appreciate you. You're awesome. You have a wealth of knowledge. You've done your homework and your research, and you know what you're talking about. So, man, that's pretty impressive, Nate. I'll have to tell you, for a homeowner. So maybe Nate, send me some pictures and things of your lawn and your program and what you do with your lawn. Maybe we can talk about that with you next week and go over what it's looking like and everything. But then, guys, if anyone wants to donate or anything, I have my PayPal link set up. Any money donated goes straight back into these videos. I want to buy a better camera to bring up the quality and things like that. I'll be live every Wednesday at 8, and then email me questions, pictures, whatever to go over for next week. Last week I had 2, this week I had 4. That was awesome. So, yeah, no problem, guys. I'll be on here about 1 more minute and see if there's any more questions. And then I got to get off and get ready for bed, huh? It's getting late. Got to get up early and get right back to it. Well, the grass don't stop growing. I can't stop working. All right, perfect, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your week into a great weekend.